We're going to take a look at a run play this week here at xsandosfootball.com, and one of the run plays that we want to go ahead and show is out of the Shotgun Trey Open, and the name of the play is called halfback counter. And this particular play is actually pretty effective against some types of coverages. Now, I'm not going to say it works against every coverage. As a matter of fact, later in the video, I want to show you a coverage where it actually winds up getting blown up so you understand it doesn't always work. So let's just go ahead and take a look at it. And the thing about the halfback counter out of the Shotgun Trey Open is that anytime you're going to run call plays out of the shotgun formation, especially in college football, you're going to want to run the ball. And this is a good example of a play that I've had some success with so far this season in NCAA 13. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. And as you look at it, what you're going to wind up noticing is the halfback, he's lined up right here. What he winds up doing is once the ball is snapped, he'll actually wind up going to the inside here. And then what he'll do is he'll break in this area here, and then he'll break back this way. Now, there's going to be a pulling guard. In this case, is actually going to wind up being this guy right here, which is going to wind up being the right guard. And he's going to wind up pulling out into this area here. And he's going to become the blocker for this particular play, at least hopefully. Now, sometimes he doesn't get all the way out there, and other times he does. So that's one of the things that makes this play kind of not always so good, but other times it does work. Now, the other thing is you look, really, if you look over here towards the left side, there's really just one defender over here, and that's going to be the one that happens to be covering the split end or the X receivers. You're looking at the screen over there to the left, and you're going to notice that there's no other defenders in this area here. And this is going to allow us to go ahead and pick up some positive yardage against this particular defense that I'm showing here, which happens to be the nickel normal two-man under. So you can kind of see how this one looks as you look at as far as the defense and the way the coverages are shaping up. So let's go ahead and take a look at the play and actually go ahead and run it, and then just see what happens with it. You can see there's a guard pulling. We wind up getting to the outside there, and we wind up picking up about 6, 7, 8 yards before we're actually brought down. So that's typically what you're going to wind up getting with this play against this type of defense and some of the other man-based type defenses in the game. Now, let's go ahead and run it one more time, and then I want to talk about something else that we want to talk about, and that is, as I just said, against normal type two-man under type coverages. But say your opponent comes out in a defense such as this one. So let's go back into the play here and take a look at this halfback counter, and then say they run maybe this defense here, this $3-2-6 defense, and it's just called two-man under. So there's nothing special about it except for one thing, and that's going to wind up being this linebacker right here. He's actually going to wind up blitzing, and so he'll wind up coming up through this area here. Well, the problem is he doesn't get blocked a lot of times, and he's going to wind up blowing up the play before it even has a chance to get going. Let's go ahead and take a look at it, and you can see what happens right there because he doesn't get blocked. And as you look at it, let's go in instant replay, and you can kind of see how this is going to wind up working there. So let's go ahead and run it, and you can see there's a guard pulling, but he doesn't block that guy, or at least tries to come back, but he's too late. And by the time the halfback gets the ball, he's already being tackled in the backfield. So that's the downside of running this. Now, something you can try to do, let's just go ahead and run this against another defense here. And let's go into the back into the nickel here and actually go into the 3-3-5 defense here. We're actually going to run this against a zone blitz type defense. And let's just run it against this linebacker cross 3, which is another inside blitz. And then we're going to run the same type of run play that we just showed, which is that halfback counter out of the Shotgun Trey Open. Now let's go ahead and run the same thing again. And you're going to watch that we wind up getting blown up again. So as you can see, anytime there's inside blitzes, there's going to be some issues when you run this type of blitz or run this type of counter play. There's a good chance it's going to wind up being blown up. One of the things you can do is take control of a receiver. In this case, it's going to be the slot receiver. I'm going to send him in motion. And if you get him in position just right, and there I didn't, sometimes you'll wind up picking up that backer who's coming in as far as the blitzer. And then you can wind up making this play actually work somewhat. So let's go ahead and do it again, same thing. And then if he doesn't get in there, there's a break tackle right there. And you can see that it just doesn't always work the way you would want it, but that's the only way I could find. If they're going to do some type of inside blitz, there's a good chance that you're going to wind up being blown up. Let's go ahead and run it one more time here and wind up doing the same thing. Now this time we're actually going to snap the ball a little bit further when this receiver gets a little bit further over. Right there, we've been snapping it right around the center, but if we motion a little bit further over in this area here, let's see what kind of results we wind up getting. A little bit better results there. So you're going to have to play around with this a little bit as far as running it against different types of defensive fronts and defensives as far as blitzes go, because there's going to be times when this play may work and other times when it doesn't work. So I just want to go ahead and show that to you in this week. So this is kind of a play that, like I said, there's been some success with it for me, but then there's other times I've wound up getting blown up. So I'm sure there's a lot other better run plays in the game, especially out of the Trey Open, but this is the one that I've had some success with. whenever I'm playing against players who like to run the two-man under defense, providing that they're not blitzing. And that's why I wanted to show this week here at xsandosfootball.com. So, at any rate, that's the name of the play. It's called Shotgun Trey Open Halfback Counter.